Hi, I'm Andy Mioch and you're watching A News. Here are the headlines. More than 1 million Ukrainians left without power following Russia's overnight missile strikes, Kyiv says. Vladimir Putin warns Russia could target decision-making centers in Kyiv with the new Oreshnik ballistic missile. Swiss government rejects a right-wing initiative to enshrine perpetual and armed neutrality into the constitution. Thank you for tuning in. More than 1 million Ukrainians were left without power following a massive Russian missile strike overnight. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claims the Russians used cluster munition, calling it a vile escalation.
The Russian strikes on Ukraine on Thursday have hit key energy facilities. At least 1 million people in the west of the country are affected, according to local officials. The Ukrainian Energy Minister, Herman Galushenko, made the announcement on Facebook, saying it's affecting the power in the regions including Kyiv, Odessa and Donetsk. In the western Rionne region, around 280,000 homes are without electricity or water. That's according to the local governor. Similar outages were also reported in Lutsk, where heating and water infrastructure was impacted. In Kharkiv, missile strikes damaged a business facility and residential buildings. In Kyiv, many residents sought shelter in metro stations when the alarm was raised.
Our mornings start with checking for air alerts. I had to take my daughter to school, and when we saw the alert, we went to the metro. We're really fed up with all of this.
Russia previously staged 10 massive attacks on the country's energy infrastructure. Families fear that ongoing strikes will continue during the winter months, causing longer power outages.
Following the strike, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Moscow struck Ukraine with 90 missiles and 100 drones overnight in response to Ukraine's attacks with UK and US weapons last week. Speaking at a session of the Collective Security Treaty Organization in Kazakhstan's Astana, Putin said that decision-making centers in Kyiv could become a target for Oreshnik, the new ballistic missile Russia used to attack the Ukrainian city of Dnipro on November 21st. Radical group Jamaat Ansarullah, also known as the Tajik Taliban, is preparing military operations in Tajikistan, according to Russia's Center for the Study of Modern Afghanistan. Mohammad Sharifov, known as Mehdi Arsalan, has allegedly been appointed to lead operations along the Afghan-Tajik border and within Tajikistan. Information on the threat comes as the CSTO summit in Astana is expected to adopt a program to fortify the Tajik-Afghan border. The organization's secretary says Afghanistan remains a base for terrorist organizations, posing serious risks to Central Asia. Earlier today, U.S. media outlets reported that the outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden is preparing a $725 million weapons package to further support Ukraine before leaving office in January. The package includes anti-tank weapons ranging from mines, drones, Stinger missiles to HIMARS ammunition. It's the largest allocation by Biden using the so-called Presidential Drawdown Authority, which allows the U.S. to draw from its weapons stock to help allies in an emergency. Biden has an estimated $4 to $5 billion in PDA already authorized by Congress that he is expected to use before President-elect Donald Trump takes office in less than 2 months. UN Security Council discussed the situation in Ukraine once again. As expected, countries were split over Russia's mid-range ballistic strikes and Ukraine's use of Western-supplied long-range missiles.
Concerns were raised at the United Nations Security Council about the escalation with the war in Ukraine. There are worries about the deployment of North Korean troops into the country. According to the United States representative, North Korea has deployed more than 10,000 troops, thousands of munitions containers and advanced weaponry into Russia. They also have concerns about the type of missile used to strike Dnipro. They say that Russia used a ballistic intermediate-range missile equipped with 6 warheads, each carrying 6 submunitions.
The location hit was reportedly an industrial area southwest of Dnipro city. According to the Ukrainian authorities, the missile was equipped with 6 warheads, each with 6 submunitions, and took only 15 minutes to arrive from the launch site in the Astrakhan region of the Russian Federation, some 1,000 kilometers away from Dnipro city.
Russia's representative dismissed all the accusations during the meeting. Moscow accuses Ukraine of trying to provoke NATO into the war.
The bankrupt Zelensky regime needs at any cost to drag NATO countries into a direct conflict with Russia in a battlefield. At any other scenario, he would be facing an irreversible and humiliating defeat that has demonstrated in the failed Kursk escapade of the Ukrainian head honcho, and the clear collapse of the front in Donbass that is being pointed out by all military experts.
Ukraine's envoy condemned the growing Russia-North Korea military alliance, warning of its implications for global security and calling for together sanctions and increased military aid.
We reiterate that Pyongyang support comes at a price, and this is an access to Russian technology in missile, nuclear, and other military programs. It is crucial to understand that this price is paid not so much by Russia, but by the world.
North Korea's ambassador defended Moscow's actions, claiming they were acts of self-defense, while dismissing accusations of criminal collaboration.
Meanwhile, in Syria, rebel forces have launched a large-scale offensive against government troops in the Aleppo province. The assault involves a range of opposition groups, from the Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham to the more moderate Free Syrian Army, once backed by the US and Turkey. Opposition forces gained ground rapidly, capturing 13 settlements, including strategic towns like Urm al-Sugra and Anjara, as well as the military base known as 46. While the offensive's long-term potential remains unclear, it has exposed the government's forces' fragility. Over in Switzerland, the federal government has rejected a neutrality initiative launched by the pro-Switzerland group and the right-wing supporters of the Swiss People's Party. The initiative called for perpetual and armed neutrality to be enshrined in the country's constitution. The Swiss Federal Council rejected the initiative, saying it's not necessary to define the neutrality more strictly. South Korea grapples with heavy snowfall for a second day, with dozens of flights cancelled, ferry operations suspended, and at least 4 people reported dead in the cold snap. The snowfall in Seoul was the 3rd heaviest on record.
More than 140 flights were cancelled in South Korea, and ferry operations were suspended across the country after 2 days of heavy snow. It's reported that at least 4 people have died due to the bad weather conditions. The storm, which began Thursday morning, is being described as the heaviest in over a century and the 3rd heaviest in Seoul since records began in 1907. More than 40 centimeters of snow piled up in parts of the capital, severely disrupting travel. However, by 10 a.m. local time, weather officials lifted the heavy snow warnings. As schools remained closed in some areas, authorities have advised residents to stay vigilant and avoid unnecessary travel until conditions improve. The heavy November weather is caused by warmer sea temperatures west of the Korean peninsula, mixing with cold air. As South Korea continues to recover from the storm's impacts, experts are monitoring the situation closely to assess any further risks in the coming days.
In India, toxic smog is still covering New Delhi. The air quality index has far exceeded normal levels, and residents are concerned on the effects on their health.
The air quality index is usually 400 in New Delhi, which is at a severe level. However, on Thursday it reached 476. This is close to a more hazardous level according to India's air quality statistics. This figure sparked frustration among residents with health concerns.
I do not feel like going out in the open, as it feels like Delhi has become a gas chamber. The situation has worsened, and you do not even want to go outdoors. The government is not able to control anything.
It is difficult to live in Delhi now. The pollution is causing a burning sensation in the eyes and breathing issues when you are outdoors in the morning and evening.
Farmers burning stubble are being blamed for the heavy toxic smog. The government says it's taking strict measures against this process. The National Space Agency has been asked to develop a system to monitor burnt areas and track farm fires.
In finance news, France's benchmark bond yield matched Greece's for the first time on record, Bloomberg reports. The yield reflects the return investors can expect if they hold the bond until maturity, and it is a critical indicator of economic confidence and investor sentiment. The rate on 10-year French notes, traditionally considered among the safest in the euro area, rose to as high as 3.03% amid escalating political uncertainty in France. That rate is the same as comparable Greek bonds, which only last year were still classified as junk by major credit rating firms. France's 2025 budget remains far from approval, and Marine Le Pen's far-right party is threatening to bring down the government if her demands on the budget are not met. The U.S. car maker Ford plans to cut 4,000 jobs in Europe, including around 2,900 in Germany. Ford announced the cuts in Germany last week, and the plans provoked anger and disbelief at a staff meeting in Cologne.
Our future is not looking good. All of a sudden, after we were assured the plan would stay until 2032. Now we are in shock. I'm not sure about the future. It's not looking good for us.
We have no information. It's a negative feeling, and I don't feel good, but ultimately we will have to wait and see.
Turkey has set its sights on becoming a carbon-neutral economy within 30 years. The country's energy minister said at the 6th Turkish-German Energy Forum in Berlin. At a forum co-hosted with German Minister Robert Habeck, Turkish Energy Minister Alparslan Bayraktar outlined Turkey's ambitious renewable energy plans. He announced a roadmap to attract $100 billion in investments by 2035 and urged German investors to join the energy transition.
And we already started to implement a very ambitious renewable program that we announced right before COP29, that we are going to quadruple our renewable capacity only on solar and wind, and we will move from 31 gigawatt today to 120 gigawatt by the year 2035. Of course, we need some certain things that we need to improve our investment-friendly environment. We need to attract capital, especially foreign finance and foreign investment. And especially German companies have a lot of experiences in Turkey, and also some newcomers more than welcome to invest in Turkish energy market, that through this close cooperation and collaboration, we believe that this is very achievable target, and it will help us to reduce our emissions.
The Zoygma Mosaic Museum in Turkey's Gaziantep has set a new benchmark by welcoming over 440,000 visitors in 2024. The feat breaks all previous records.
Since its inauguration, the Zoygma Mosaic Museum has stood as a testament to Turkey's vast archaeological and historical treasures. Authorities say its growing visitor numbers underscore the enduring appeal of ancient art and the importance of preserving cultural landmarks. The unparalleled collection of ancient mosaics, including the iconic Gypsy Girl, continues to draw both domestic and international attention. Officials say that the milestone of 442,000 visitors shows how pivotal the museum's role is in promoting the city's rich cultural heritage. Gaziantep is situated in southern Turkey and is famous for its cuisine and historical sites. It's now fast becoming a focal point for global travelers seeking to explore the country's ancient past.
That's all from us for now. Thank you and keep watching A News.